Hi guys and girls, I'm Obsidian and welcome to 3303. This is where I take a look at the news and happenings in and around Elite Dangerous. Today we take a look at the PlayStation 4 release of Elite Dangerous. Frontier have tackled one of the long-standing exploits and punished said players, and patch 2.3.10 makes it to the live servers. Patch 2.3.10 hit the live servers today, and it required quite an extensive server downtime. Now, the surface of the patch changes, the stuff we're going to see, are relatively minor. However, there's some very extensive work that's gone into the background optimizations here, including network and service optimizations down on planets, amongst many other things. Now, one thing you are going to see is the change and improvements to the Anaconda bridge, and the changes to the multi-crew. You're now going to have the option to lock out other players from certain ship functions. Now, I've covered the changes to this patch fairly extensively in a previous video, so I'll link that in the description below. You can go and check that out if you don't know what the update contains. The PlayStation 4 version of Elite Dangerous is due to go live tomorrow. Now, we don't know what time the servers are going to come up. It could be up to any time midnight UK time, but hopefully it's going to be quite a bit before that. Now, the game is already available for download if you pre-ordered it from the PlayStation Store, and you can get into the game and try out the training missions already. However, you're going to have to wait for the servers to come up to try out the main game. There's some information on the differences between the base version of the PlayStation 4 game as well as the PlayStation 4 version. Now, the base PS4 version has the same graphics as the Xbox One version of the game, and the PlayStation 4 Pro does have much higher quality graphics. It does come with two graphical settings. You can set it to performance mode or you can set it to quality mode. Unfortunately though, you can't fiddle with the graphical settings too extensively. Now, as for the 4K mode, this is going to happen, but it's not going to be available on launch. No details on when that will happen, but it seems likely it may happen around about the time of the 2.4 launch, or maybe even the Xbox One X version of the game. Elite Dangerous does not support the PlayStation VR, unfortunately. Again, no news on when or if this might happen, but at the moment it seems to me at least that this might be unlikely. Now, when it comes to virtuality on a PC, it is a very demanding game and requires quite a high-spec PC. So whether or not even the PS4 Pro is capable of this is something that remains to be seen. I know a lot of players out there are very excited for the PlayStation 4 release, and they've been asking me whether or not I'm going to be releasing videos, and yes, I certainly am. I own my own PlayStation 4 and should have a video with you very soon. Looking forward to seeing all the new members of the community, and if you're going to be playing on the PlayStation 4 version, do let me know in the comments section. I'd love to hear from you. Now, there does seem to be a bit of bad news regarding the PS4 version. A number of players have been reporting the screen tearing whilst trying out the tutorial missions. This is something that was noticed on the PlayStation 4 livestream last week. In fact, Frontier seemed quite surprised to see it and suggested that it may simply be down to the capture card that was being used to stream the game. This issue has been reported to Frontier. They do say they're aware of it, but there's no comment as to whether or not, or when even, there will be a fix. If someone however does come up with a workaround, I'll keep you posted. Last week, in a major shake-up, many players logged on to find out that their high-spec engineer modules had been stripped back to the base version. Now, this was in response to a long-standing exploit which some players were using to get themselves high-grade engineered modules. The exploit entailed them getting these grade 5 modules for simply using grade 1 materials, meaning they could do many hundreds of rolls to get the best modifications. Now, instead of simply removing the cheated module, Frontier went ahead and removed all the related modules. So if a player had used the exploit to get a grade 5 dirty drive, then all of their dirty drives would have been stripped back to the base version. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this has been a long-standing exploit. Some people suggest it's been around for as long as patch 2.2, which means it's been in use for around about 1 year now. There's apparently a number of very high-profile player groups that have been using this to a very high degree, engineering many of their ships and every single module that they can possibly touch. So when news of this exploit made it to the wider community, it became a general concern that open play mode itself is a very unbalanced environment. In fact, there were some suggestions saying that perhaps some of the larger player events that have been disrupted by player groups would not have been so extensively disrupted had it not been for this exploit. Now, how long Frontier have known about this exploit remains completely unknown. However, there are some allegations that Frontier have known for around about a year, and one player even posted an alleged screenshot dated back a year showing Frontier and describing to them the nature of the exploit. However, the bottom line is that once it did become common knowledge, Frontier were relatively quick to act. Now, players who did use the exploit will have logged in and found an in-game message telling them they've been found out and the nature of the response that's going to be taken against them. Now, players who only used the exploit only once will also be impacted with this, and so far at least it seems there's been no false positives with the wrong players getting accidentally hit. What this means then for the large player groups that have been heavily reliant upon this exploit is a question that many players are actually asking. After all, there's now a high probability that at least some of these players that have been regularly cheating now have no engineered modules at all. In other news, patch 2.3.10 has been confirmed to have an exploit. Now, this particular exploit gives players unlimited premium ammo. Now, premium ammo gives players a 30% bonus to damage dealt, so having an unlimited supply of this ammo is certainly going to give a huge advantage to players who are willing to use this exploit. There's no word yet on how long it's going to take Frontier to fix this, or even how far they've gone in acknowledging this exploit. Now, of course, this isn't the only exploit in the game. There are a number of others, some of them giving almost equal advantageous situations to players who are willing to use them. Now, exploits, of course, are a natural thing with online game. Any type of online game is going to have them, but normally they are usually rectified quite quickly. Let's see then how long it takes Frontier to fix this one. Captain Skoomer is back with yet another fantastic Strange Worlds episode. Now, these videos document his expedition into deep space. Skoomer and Zack head on out there, circumnavigating the entire galaxy. This is episode 3, and as you can see, it is absolutely fantastically filmed. Now, personally, I feel Skoomer films the best cinematic videos of Elite Dangerous on YouTube. Well worth checking out, and I highly recommend you head on over to his channel and check this one out as well. You can see the video in the description below. So then, that brings us to the end of this episode of 3302. But before I head off, I just want to remind you that I will be making some PlayStation 4 videos of Elite, and I'll be back tomorrow with some of those. They will also be well worth checking out for long-term players of Elite. Not only will we get to meet new players joining the Elite Dangerous community, but it's going to be interesting to check out some of the unique PlayStation 4 features. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time.